Presentation in association with all WNY News Radio. It's another week of the Nick and Dan Show, Season 2, bitches! Starring your hosts, Nick and that lovable motherfucker, Dan. Not to mention myself, Carl Winslow. And featuring Think So Joe. This week on the Nick and Dan Show, we have local legend and Niagara Falls Music Hall of Famer Jamie Holka joining the boys in studio. Stay tuned, there's more to come.
Nick and Dan have taken over Scott's office to bring you the Nick and Dan Show. Enjoy, fuckers!
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, sir. Yeah. And, yeah, one of these days I've been trying to get Paroli on this show, too. It's funny, when we opened up for him the first time.
Paroli's great.
Right, but,
dude,
I guess Rinker hadn't mentioned that they were going to have an opener for the fucking show. They show up, and Rinker told him who it was. I guess Mark told him, he was like, dude, I know those guys. I watch their fucking YouTube show.
Dude, I know those dudes. Right. I know those dudes. No, really, I played with him. We had well, it was funny because Bruce took my drummer at the time for Clear. So I said, you took my drummer? I'll take your fucking drummer. So Paroli. And I'll tell you, he was, I always knew that about Mark. He was very meticulous with, you know, when we would write the tunes, he'd be like, he would get his drum parts pretty much worked out. Mm-hmm. And because he was, you know, trained, he knew how, you know, he would get his, you know, for the most part, he'd have his, like, you know, things mapped out to the point where once he locked it in, he didn't miss. Mm-hmm. And that's how he is, you know what I mean? And, which is, you know, I mean, like Neil Peart, that was always his thing. I mean, every time he's going to play that song, he's going to play it the same way. Now, some people might say, well, there should be room for this, that, or the other. But at the same time, if you want a drummer that don't miss.
Right.
You know, drummers that miss are at home. Mm-hmm. You know, you know, same thing with bass players. I mean, if you get a fucking shaky bass player, look, people say, oh, man, bass player was solid. It's like, well, I mean, if you're gonna be doing it, you know, right. That's an instrument that, you know, those
right. Trip. Footprint of the song, man.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, how we were talking about that the other night, man. It's like, you know, there's no, well, depending on the style, but I mean, it's a no glory kind of thing, and you gotta, you know, first job is to stay right, you know, stay in the pocket, and some guys, you know, step out more than others, but some never do it, and shit, you know, God bless them. It's necessary.
Right. Absolutely. Like I know it's you that always says, you always goes, you know, if I did my job right, you didn't even notice.
Right.
You know,
right.
Exactly.
But that should be kind of well, like, I always see it as like, you know, if we all do our job right, you don't really notice one over the other. It should all really just come together as one piece.
Right. There's a little bit of crowd play involved every now and then, but you got to know when you can do it.
Right.
And you want that. I mean, it's, you know, and it's that, you know, studio, live is live. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've definitely learned that after finishing off this record. Some things work great live. Right. Some things in studio, not so much. Mm-hmm. It's like, like there was a chorus for one of our songs, and on stage, like, I kind of do more of like a screech for it, and I pull off the mic, so, you know, it just kind of has that effect. In studio, though, Johnny Helms, our producer, goes, so did you mean to do it that way? Actually, no, the first time he was like, what the fuck was that? Yeah. I'm like, this...
That's a question you don't want to hear in life in general.
Right.
Not at all.
And even I knew, I'm like, that's not going to work at all. We're going to have to figure something else out for that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking 40 takes later, I finally found something. Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error, man.
Right.
There's no blueprint, you know. There really isn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nick and Dan Show. We have Jamie Holka, Niagara Falls Great, with us.
All right.
Brother, welcome to the Nick and Dan Show.
Good to be here.
Right. Good to have you.
And by the end of this, we're going to want to burn everything we have.
Yeah, like, obviously Jamie taught me how to play guitar, and I watch you now, and I sit there, I'm like, I must not have been fucking paying attention or something, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm way off of that.
Well, I mean, styles are, you know what I mean? I've told, it's funny, I talked about this recently too. You know, your era, your when you guys were in your teens, everybody was coming in with, well, there's a few different bands I remember, like really, like that were frequently, you know, in the CD player when players existed. And Nirvana was the one group that certain guys, I had a couple of guys, everybody wanted, you know, these couple of guys wanted to know every Nirvana tune. And after we learned, like, you know, Nevermind and the albums In Utero, the albums that people knew, then it was like, hey, I found this bootleg for Nirvana. I found it. And I'm learning all these obscure Nirvana tunes. Right. And Green Day was another one. Dookie had just come out at that time. And that was another album. And I remember there was some Misfits in there. There was some Rancid. You know, it's kind of that kind of stuff. And, I mean, the thing about that music is the guitar playing is more kind of like we're talking about what a bass player would do. You know, it's a support instrument more than it is, you know, I mean,
lead,
yeah, those guys weren't known for their lead playing. So that's, you know, and even some of the real heavy stuff, you know, I mean, depending on what that was. So yeah, it's just different, you know, different eras, different, you know, the style dictates, you know, I mean, I grew up on Zeppelin and Hendrix and Deep Purple. Not that music wasn't current when I was growing up. It was already, you know, a decade removed or more. But that was the stuff that I, you know, kind of started trying to copy and, you know.
I think that's stuff that I asked you to teach me, Tom.
Yeah, you were doing classic stuff.
Yeah, like I think Sabbath, I was showing me a couple. I want to say Zeppelin, we only hit Stairway to Heaven.
I mean, you know, even if it's a tune like Stairway, even if you don't ever play it anywhere, you should know it.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
nice to have in your pocket.
you should just know it. It's
Freebird.
history. You know, it's
Absolutely.
yeah, all that stuff. It's historically, you know, in a certain place, and yeah, you know.
You'll
You know
always
what?
play a show
It's-
because there's always that one guy in the crowd.
That's right.
I warn people. I tell them I know how to play Freebird.
I started playing it when they
Stairway.
found out.
Yeah, me too.
And they're
I
like,
tell
oh shit, man, you do know how to play it?
Yeah. I know
He thought he
both
was
the
just
whole
being fun
fucking
in front of
way.
his office buddies.
Right.
Whole fucking way through. You call out, I'm gonna fucking do it. You're gonna have to deal with all fucking 15 minutes of it.
Right.
That's
what they
it.
get.
You're going to get the extended version.
Yep,
That's
that's
what they
what
get
the
for
live.
That's what they get for being a smart guy.
Right.
Yep. Oh, you want to call that out? All right, here we go. You asked for it. You got it. Like the Kiss intro. You wanted the best.
You got the
You
best.
got the best.
It's the hottest band in the world.
That's right. Oh,
I had that album when I was like 5.
yeah.
Just Live 2.
I want to say the first Kiss album I had was probably, shit. It might have been Alive too, or no, I think it was Destroyer.
Mhm.
Was my first vinyl of it, like
Mhm.
my first record that I got.
Yep.
Of
I remember listening to Love Gun a whole bunch.
No
The
shit.
Love Gun album, yeah. I had Alive 2. Then I got into all of the two, not all 4, but when they all 4 did their solo albums.
Yeah.
The Ace Frehley album is phenomenal. Me and Bruce still do New York Groove. But
shit.
that's a great record, man. His
What?
record was the best, by far. I mean, by far.
right? Didn't he? Hide Your Heart was on that one too, wasn't it?
I don't know. I remember like Ozone and
Oh.
Speeding Back to My Baby,
Mm.
New York Groove. What's the one I'm thinking of?
Oh, I can't think of the name right now. At about 2:00 this morning.
Snowblind, because I'm snowblind. That's the name
Okay.
of it.
I was if we don't figure out at 2:00 in the morning, you're gonna get a fucking
Mhm.
message because it popped in my head.
Yeah, I mean, those are the, Snowblind, Ozone, Shattered. What was the one? Shattered. Something as an instrumental at the end. Good album, man.
Mhm.
Just a great record, you know. And was Ace my favorite guitar player? No, but man, he was a great song. He wrote great songs, you know.
Right.
That's the other kind of thing people confuse, I think, a lot of times is songwriter, guitar player. Like, if the, you know what I mean? If the front man's, certain guys have gotten a lot of credit for their guitar playing when they're just good.
Right.
Mhm.
And they've been put to the status of, you know, and it's like, well, you know, but you can't. It's tough to. I try to stay out of those
conversation.
Well, yeah, because what are you gonna, you know what I mean? You're just gonna get in an argument. You know, people wanna.
Oh yeah.
I mean, none of these guys are bad, but sometimes, like I said, some of them get too much, a little too much credit.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you gonna do?
Hey. Everybody's got their taste, right?
That's right.
And I think a big part of it too just comes from how some of them have had that longevity where, you know, they almost reach that mythic status because they've just made it this fucking long. They're still,
right.
you know, even if not relevant, they're still popular. So I think that plays into it too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then after a while, how do you know? Then that's the other side of it is being critical of somebody that's kept their status. You know, then you know what I mean. Like sometimes, like people say, "Well, what are you doing?" You know, it's like, well, you know. So as players, we always, you know, we're hypercritical, you know. But then, yeah, we can always say, well, you know, if we, like people say, well, AC/DC wrote the same album, you know, 15 times. It's like, well, if you could, and you know what I mean, like. Who's, you know,
people are buying it.
Who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't
People
have
bought all
you know,
15 versions?
Who wouldn't take that criticism? You know,
That's
what
why
I mean?
I've always kind of like the term sellout always gets thrown out a lot. It's
Right.
like that's kind of the point.
Right.
You know.
I mean, if you want to be obscure, shit,
Yeah.
you know,
Go for it.
well, exactly. I mean, sellout, right? People are, you know, or if a band, you know, goes another way from album to album, you know, some of the you know the early fans, oh man. Well, again, you know, do you want every album to sound like the same, or you know, you want to hear these guys evolve, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's how it's supposed to. It's supposed
Absolutely.
to happen.
I mean, you're gonna have your hits and misses. Like diehard Metallica fans hated the load and reload era,
Right.
You know, but
Right.
they're
I
still
didn't
playing.
mind them, personally.
There's Metallica fans I've talked to that didn't like the Black Album. You know,
Yeah.
people like Kill 'Em All and you know all that were like you know even like when they you know Nothing Else Matters. They're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? And it's like,
Mhm.
well, I mean, you know, they're just writing songs and
Exactly.
and of course that thing sold you know a trillion albums and
Yeah, ridiculous amount.
but see that's what I'm saying and then you got so you know you can't you never you know it's that's what music art it's all
Right.
people got and you know and we all know everybody's got an opinion.
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's got the answer. You know.
Everybody's got a soapbox and a megaphone.
That's right.
Yeah, especially now.
Is that okay if that thing's not on?
Oh yeah,
I think so.
it's
You
good.
did hit the record button,
Of course I did.
Okay. Just
I
checking.
pushed the button.
Just checking.
That's the most important thing. You can push the button.
Yeah.
That's right. Gotta push the button.
Push the
He's a
button.
button pusher.
I'm good at pushing buttons. Sometimes to a fault.
He's experimenting with pushing buttons now because I made him a pedal board for Christmas.
Is that right?
He who does not like pedals has started buying pedals and experimenting with
And I found a lot that I don't like. Like I got this Voodoo Octave. It's supposed to be like a fuzz pedal, octave pedal. Yeah, it doesn't do either very well. I'm like, that's not. Like when I think of a fuzz pedal, I think of like that dirty
Mhm.
70s kind of sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it did not deliver that. When I think of an octave, I think of, you know, you hit it, you got two distinctive kind of
Right.
tones overlaid.
Right.
No, didn't have that either. Ottawa didn't thrill me that much either. I felt like it was missing something.
Well, see, I think you were going into it thinking the Ottawa was an envelope filter, and that's why you got disappointed.
Well, see, I don't know pedals. He's got to tell me this stuff.
That's yeah. I mean, I was you know I've gone back and forth with pedals in my life, and you know, and recently now I'm starting to play with this one band I'm with. The guy that it's basically his music. He likes an effective guitar sound, you know.
Okay.
And I was all and for years I've been moving into just a real natural sound, and so now it was like so I bought my first for the first time in my life at 46. I bought my first chorus pedal. Never owned a chorus. Never owned one.
Oh, shit.
But now I'm playing with it all the time, and it's cool. I mean, it's like, you know, it's just as like we're talking about, like, you know, your favorite band. They go through phases with their writing.
Yeah.
You go through phases with your sound, with your style. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's never, you know, and just when you think, yeah, this is how I'm going to do it from now on, something comes along and changes your opinion and or whatever, and so.
Absolutely. It's just fun to play with, you know, if you're jamming, trying to come up with new shit, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it sparks ideas, and it does. You know, it's same thing with instruments. I played a Strat forever and ever and ever and ever, and all of a sudden I've been playing this Tele, and I'm like, and it's thing just feels so good. But I'm like, and then I got a new amp, and I was always 100-watt Marshall guy, 50-watt Marshall guy. Now I got an 18-watt amp. I'm like, 18 watts? What? I said, there's no way, and it's incredible. So, like I says, you know, you never say never, and just when you think you got it figured out, you don't.
Yep, you find something else. Like,
Yeah.
ooh. Like, yeah, right now, after mixing different ones in, I think I've settled on, tuner pedal. Obviously, that's a standard.
Gotta have that.
That's,
I mean,
that's
you
number
say
one.
that, but there's
There's bands that don't have them.
there's bands,
Really?
yeah. Oh,
I mean, when
Yeah.
I first started playing live, like early '90s, it wasn't like you had the ball. You didn't have like all these tuners. I mean, so when I first started gigging, I mean, you'd be up there,
Right.
you know, getting with the bass player.
There was like one guy in the band that had one, and then everybody went off that.
And if you watch old footage, man, you listen to old live records, man, bands will walk out and they tune.
Oh yeah.
mhm.
You know, like an orchestra. Everybody's getting in tune, and that's how it was. So, you know what? And there's something to that too. Like there's something about that was like human,
Yeah,
you know, and
absolutely.
the band wasn't always, you know, and the tuning wasn't always 440 for that matter. You know,
Right.
even if they were intending to be in 440. Like if you listen to a Hendrix album or something, someone say, "Oh man, he was tuned down a half step," you know, and it's just the way. Well, that's where he probably grabbed the guitar, and it
Mhm.
wasn't as intentional, I think, as you know, as people thought it was
Oh yeah.
back then. You know,
Yeah.
But-
Right, or even like, wasn't it Dimebag Darrell? He was always
He
tuned
was a
like
quarter,
440, like a little bit sharp, if I remember right.
No, he was
Or
quarter
was it-
flat.
Quarter flat,
It was a
okay. 'Cause
quarter
I always
flat.
remember he was never like a true note or anything. He was
Mhm.
always off
Mhm.
a little bit.
man, he could play.
Yeah, he really could. And precision. I mean, ooh.
These are fucking precision.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like cats like that. I mean, you know, it was that kind of. You know, you had not every player in that realm could play that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You know, meticulously. You know.
Mhm.
So I always thought about Zach. You know, I mean, it wasn't Pantera, but I mean Zach Wilde. When he that first time I heard him on the Ozzy album, I was like, man, this, you know, and he was. I mean, Randy Rhoads was more, I think, probably more creative within what he was doing, but Zach was just super, you know,
Precise.
just precise, man. You know.
Randy went for a little bit more of the flair. I mean, he still had great technique, but he
Yeah.
went for more of the flair and the showmanship, while Zach, and even if you watch him live, he's
Yeah.
just very much into,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
keeping everything properly structured and spot on.
Right. And you think that? See, that's the other thing. People think that some of these guys are like, dude, I just play, man. These guys got their shit together. They've worked it out. They've been working on it for years. They want it to come across a certain way. They're conscious of what they're doing, even if sometimes people put on a little bit of a thing like, you know, like it's not, you know, that way. It's that way. But you can tell the players that it's that way for.
Mhm.
You know, Keith Richards, I believe Keith. But if you can write "Start Me Up" and you know Brown, again, she can't, you know,
Absolutely.
you can't deny it.
And them open tunings too.
Yeah.
You know what? That's one thing I
And
never.
his feel is
Right.
is awesome. You know.
I mean, he's obviously well known for using a lot of open tunings, and that's one thing I just always had a hard time grasping. I've dabbled a little bit, but I just can't do it. It's tough for me, you know.
His were pretty basic too. I mean, it
Right.
was just so that you know, tunings are to make it easier on this hand.
Mhm.
I mean, you're not forming big chords. You're able to, you know, that's, you know, even sometimes a tuning seems complicated, but it is to, in most cases, to make, you know, make ease of, you know, what you're doing. But you know what Keith said, all it takes to play guitar, because you know he takes that low E string off most of his guitars. So Keith always says, all it takes to play guitar is 5 strings, 2 fingers, and 1 asshole.
There you go.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Right.
He really takes the low E off most of his guitar.
Yeah,
huh?
5 strings. Yep.
Oh shit.
And he tunes it to a G, starting with the A string being a B and open G chord.
Really?
Yeah, like "Start Me Up" and certain, you know, there's certain those tunes. That's why when you hear him play, then you hear somebody in a bar band doing it, and you're like, yeah, that's the riff, but it don't sound exactly. It doesn't have that, you know, that same you know, that little extra Keith-ism, you know.
Right, or like when you hear guys noodling around on like painted black, there's always you're missing those little nuances because the notes aren't quite lined up.
Yep.
So,
and that's the thing about those, you know, those kind of bands and, you know, musicians, that they were making it up as they went along. There wasn't, you know, there was no blueprint for any of this stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And now for some fucking commercials.
Dan here again from Dan and Nick's Used Guitar Emporium. Today, I want to show you what we just got in. We got ourselves an acoustic guitar. Unlike your big box store that want to sell you B-acoustic and C-acoustic guitars, we specifically sort out acoustic guitars. They want to give you nothing but the best. This particular one's got 6 strings on it, so it's worth about $600. But because we like you and we want your business, we're going to give it to you on sale for $899. That's right, just $899 will get you this acoustic guitar.
Wait a second. No, that's right. Never mind.
That's right.
It's not dust. Something is coming. Something now. From Darker Times, X and Priory, CD release show, June 15th, at the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York.
Looking for your next amplifier? Are you trying to redefine your sound? Do you need that piece of equipment to complement your amazing guitar playing? Well, look no further. Bison Electronics has what you need. Look up Bison Electronics online. Handmade from the ground up in Buffalo, New York. If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory, EXHAMPRIORY, Tuesdays every week. We're back.
So it was, you know,
even like before distortions were common, you know, they were taking razor blades to their speaker cones.
Yep, speaks
It
up.
was all just experimental.
Yep.
And then Jeff Beck going to people and going, how can I get rid of all the mid in my amplifier? Like, that stuff wasn't done back then,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Hendrix taking a right-hand guitar, well, first learning it behind his back and then flipping it over and going, oh, this works much better.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, that's what I mean. That's why that stuff is so timeless, you know what I mean? Because it's never going to happen again. Like that movement, what they did and the way it sounded, and I mean, it's just like anything. Like classical music eventually went away for the most part. There's guys that compose kind of modern, but nothing has like a Beethoven or a Bach, like, you know, it's you know. Well, that's the funny thing about classical music. Those guys always left room in their pieces for improv. But as time went on, everybody got rid of that element and just learned. So if you hear 5 guys play a Beethoven piece, 5 guys play the exact same notes, the exact same way, it's like, how do you differentiate, you know? But, you know, eventually that stops. So I think we're at the end of an era. I think we're coming to the end of, you know, pretty soon, you know, within the next, I mean, like by the time I'm dead, if I live a normal life expectancy, I think a lot is going to be like going into a bar and seeing a band, you know, kind of just playing with old amps and old guitars. I think it's going to start, you know, in the next 30 years. You know, I mean, guys like you got to keep it going, you know, whatever way you can, because it's, I see it. Like, I don't see a lot of guys in their 20s playing in bands. You know what I mean?
Me either.
But when I was coming up, dude, I mean, it was like, you know, everybody was, you know, trying to do something, you know, and in high school. And kids, everybody's got the phones now, man. I mean, the act of sitting there with an instrument for hours at a time is, you know, becoming, you know, obsolete almost. I think, you know, it's just a theory, but
No, I'm right there with. I mean, especially just an actual instrument, because now with technology and everything, they have
right,
you know, how to learn a guitar on your phone,
right,
kind of thing.
Right.
You're not sitting there with an actual instrument,
right.
You know, building calluses, which is
right.
another aspect of guitar playing.
Yep.
That nobody talks about.
Yeah,
You
just
know,
getting that. Yeah, making
getting
it so
the hand
after
endurance, that
2
muscle
minutes,
memory.
your fingers aren't dying with huge indents in them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too. You know, the way people learn. That was something. Again, you know, it's like you start thinking about this stuff, and you know, a kid can go on YouTube and watch somebody and learn, you know, how to play like the solo to Eruption or the, you know, Crazy Train solo. You'll see some guy in his bedroom, you know, with his Playboy books stacked up, and his mother's knocking on the door, some 40-year-old guy, hey, here's how you do this solo, you know. And you can learn it like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I was growing up, if I'd go for a guitar lesson, I'd bring in a vinyl record, and hey, I want to learn this song, and the guy would put the vinyl on, put the needle on, listen to a few notes, lift it up, you know, use your ear, okay, here's that, put it back down. Like, it was so manual.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was manually like intensive to learn, you know, a solo and use your ears and, you know, all that stuff.
That's what pissed me off, because when I first met my wife, when we first started dating, she wanted to learn how to play guitar. So I went out and I bought her Squire Bullet, you know, set her up. She was out taking lessons. And she was like, well, I want you to teach me. I was like, I can't. You know, I used to know how to read music. I can't do it anymore. I'm not a theory guy. You put something on the radio and I can pick it up. You know, but I just to sit here and actually be like, okay, so to play this, you have to do this.
Yeah, everybody's not.
This.
Everybody's can't. Right.
I can't do it.
Everybody's not cut out to teach, and everybody's not right. You know, and a lot of times people like will listen to a great player and say, I want to take lessons off that guy. But great players doesn't equal great teacher. A lot of times it's the opposite. You'll find a good teacher and he plays okay,
Right.
but he knows his shit, and and because he's not like overly, you know, above average as a player, he got good at teaching. You know, he got good at being that. You know, so it's you know, it's different for everybody though.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, as I teach, and you know, not everybody knows how to just convey information
Right.
in a certain way that somebody else is going to get it. Like I could sit there. You know, I don't know how to teach guitar. I know how to play it, but I could sit there and I'm going to go, okay, this here's an E chord, and this one's got to be on this.
Right.
And I won't think about the fact that, oh wait, I haven't explained to you what frets are. My brain just goes on autopilot.
Right.
And
Well, yeah, I mean, if you assume, that's what happens. You assume they know what you know, and you start just throwing it at them. And you gotta say, oh, wait a minute, you know. You know.
Yep.
But
Let's teach you how to tune it first.
yeah, I mean, it's, you know, teaching's hard. You know, I tell people, man, it's like,
Absolutely.
I got thrown into it young, so I mean, it was like, just kind of, and I had, you know, good guys that I took lessons from, and they were good at it, so, you know what I mean? It's like I said, some guys are pure ear players, so they're not going to be good teachers, you know, because they didn't learn in a structured way.
Yeah.
They learned as they saw fit, as they, you know, and that's how, you know, but, yeah, but then you'd be surprised, some guys, if they just stop and if you're if you know, I think it's harder to teach beginners. Beginners, it's tough. Getting somebody out of the gates on an instrument is really tough. But at the same time, guys will come to me that already play, say, hey, I want to do some of that, what you're doing. I go, okay, cool. I'm thinking, oh, guy already plays.
Right.
Cool. Then they get in there, and you try to show somebody something that's like out of the comfort zone for somebody that's been playing 20 years or longer, and they resist that like you wouldn't believe. Like,
Oh yeah.
and that, so instead of it being easier to teach somebody that's been playing forever,
right.
it's harder because they just kind of. I've seen it a lot, man, and it's, you know. Plus, nobody wants to feel like a beginner again, which I've always been willing to kind of try to go back to the drawing board and say, hey,
we were actually having that conversation during practice this week. That my drummer and I, we've been playing for a while, but there's a lot of shit we don't know.
Sure.
So I was actually there's this guy online sells a course, all his mastery courses or whatever. So I was actually considering on just getting the money and just going right back to scratch. Just learning it all up again.
Right, because I
try to get rid of the bad habits.
Right.
Bad habits here or there. Try to learn a little bit more of what I forgot as far as reading music.
Right.
I used to know how to play slap. Hadn't used it in 10 years. Forgot it all.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I mean, look at, if you watch, whatever sport, if there's any sport you're into. I mean, do you think, and I don't want to use this guy as an example because nobody can stand him. But you think Tom Brady isn't working on what he's doing?
Oh, yeah.
You think he's not having people watching, hey, Tom, I'm noticing your shoulders kind of, I mean, Tom Brady is gay. Okay, let's just get that.
Let's just call it what it is.
Well, let's say Steph Curry, Golden State Warriors, who shot 400 three-pointers a couple years ago. I mean, do you think he's not practicing anymore? Do you think he's not trying to get better?
Right.
So, I mean, but see, that's the thing. For some reason, there's this thing about playing that people feel like it's like you get to a certain point and it's like, well, I'm not gonna take lessons, or I'm not gonna, it's like, well, I mean, you can keep. People go to college, they get an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, a doctorate degree. I mean, you can keep, you can keep learning. I mean, so why not keep at what you do and try to, It just makes it easier when it just makes you more complete, and therefore your thing becomes easier to get your stuff across.
That's the thing. I mean, nobody knows everything. There's always room for improvement.
That's right.
Right. I mean, I find myself, every time we play, I find myself always up at the stage, regardless of what band it is, just kind of watching the guitar player, because,
everybody's got something.
Yeah, better than me, same as me, worse, whatever. They're going to do something different. I'm going to go, dude, how the fuck did you make that noise? Or how did you structure that there?
Right.
And I always find myself just watching, looking for something different, going, okay, I got to try and figure that out now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll find myself wandering over going, so, that third song in, maybe just after you came out of the first verse, there was this riff there. What was that? Can you show me that really quick?
No, I mean, if you're always in the mentality of a student, student mentality, that's the way it be. I mean, that's how you're going to, keep growing at what you're doing. But, music's funny. It's funny. And the people that do it are funnier. It's just,
that's the goddamn truth.
It's like, it's like, wow, man. That's why it's a challenge to get a band with guys that, you know what I mean? Everybody clicks, and half the time, even good bands, everybody still doesn't click, but, you make it work. It's I don't know. Because there's no referee, there's no rules, there's no way to do it. Right? There's no
outline, there's no manual for this shit.
Nothing. So
if there was, everybody'd be doing it.
Yeah. You hope that your ideas and what you hope you're correct. Like, okay, if we do this, this, and this, but 1 + 1 does not equal 2.
No,
rarely does it.
And sometimes you can try something that somebody else did, and it, for some reason, when you do, just falls flat. It's like,
oh, yeah.
All right, so that didn't work.
I've always heard that. Like, we'd be putting something together, and someone would say, well, fuck, Zeppelin never did that. And I'd be like, are we Zeppelin?
Yeah.
Are you John Paul Jones? Are you fucking John Paul?
Right.
So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, well, Pink Floyd.
Now, for a few more commercials.
Catch Jamie Holcomb with Bruce Wojcik as the Brothers of Invention play the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York, Wednesday, June 20th at 9 p.m. Serving up some of your favorite songs while the bartender serves up some cold drinks. Wednesday, June 20th at 9 p.m. River Pub. Then, see Jamie Holcomb solo on Friday, June 29th at the River Pub. Partying for happy hour, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls. See you at the pub. WNY Radio, in association with FTNP Events, brings you WNY's Music Scene Showcase Volume 4. Saturday, June 23rd in Sugar City, 1239 Niagara Street, Buffalo, New York. 6 p.m. doors with a $5 cover, all ages, featuring some of Western New York's top acts, like Hojack.
streets are cold red. All the evacuate the building.
Wyatt Coy,
I was half drunk, staring at my crossed eyes in the mirror, thinking back on the old
Yellow Sauce,
Space Wizard took the yellow
and Exum Priory.
we say, goddamn!
Come be part of the fun and bring members of the RHS show Saturday, June 23rd in Sugar City, 6 p.m. door time. See you there.
We're back.
Are we Pink Floyd? Really? Where's the fucking jet?
Where's the money in the bank?
Jeez.
Somebody get me my inflatable pig.
Exactly. Doesn't everybody have one of those?
Absolutely.
I thought so, but apparently not.
Well,
Apparently we're not Floyd, so.
Whatever. I wouldn't want to be. Well, that's them. It's been done that way. I like doing my way.
Absolutely.
yeah, they came in, like I stated, a different era that'll never be seen again. And everything was new. Everybody was different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pink Floyd didn't sound like Zeppelin. Zeppelin didn't sound like Deep Purple. Deep Purple didn't sound like Yes. Yes didn't sound. It just that's how it was. I mean, everybody. Now it's like, hey man, these guys got something, and next thing you know, 10 bands come along.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that started happening. Probably. I mean, there was. I remember after Pearl Jam came out, and then all of a sudden, who was that fucking good? That dude, man. What was that band? But I remember hearing a tune one day, and I'm going, the new Pearl Jam song, and it was Creed.
Oh.
And I'm going, wait a minute, like it was so. It just seemed so contrived, and I'm just going, and that's when it seemed like it started, like, But that 90s wave, I think, for rock, whatever you want, even though it's called grunge, I mean, it's still rock. I mean, that was the last movement, of, those are radio tunes. I mean, Alice in Chains was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots. I mean, all, in that Red Hot. See, now Chili Peppers, now to me, they're kind of in that group, but they kind of ain't,
Right, because they were more of a.
They came.
They were more of like a Cali funk almost.
And they came. I think their first demo was 1984.
Yeah, it was early.
Dude, 35 years ago. Think of that for the Chili Peppers.
It was early.
They were on like Arsenio Hall or something. They were fucking him and Kiedis and Flea were 21. And they were crushing. It was with the first band, the Russian guitar player dude, and I don't know who the first drummer was. It wasn't Chad Smith, but I mean, yeah, they were doing something. But I mean, as far as the contemporaries, all those bands, like, I mean, where's that many bands that are that, like, highly developed and on the radio? That's the other thing. Radio's done. I mean, it's exactly. There's internet radio. There's all this other. There's YouTube. There's all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, as far as getting into a car and turning on the radio and hearing, your favorite band, it's,
Well,
it's
you're.
just,
you might hear your favorite band, but it's the same song you've
Right.
heard 800 times on the fucking
That's right.
radio because they've buried it into the goddamn ground.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, terrestrial radio, I've definitely noticed a big change in that where it's not the same quality as it used to be. And plus, to get on terrestrial radio is fucking impossible.
Right.
I mean, I forget who I want to say I was talking to Steve K from The Edge at one point. Talking about how, we're in a band, we'd love to be able to get on, and he said, I have no control over that anymore.
No, right.
It's all done by, with a Clear Channel.
Right.
That's just a big corporation. They're looking for quickest, bang for their buck.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that's the reason why you don't hear bands like Clear on the radio anymore on 103.3 The Edge, because they can't play them. They're not, they kiboshed it, regardless of how hard they fought. So, and from talking to people all around the country, which that is one thing I do like about social media, is it does give you a little bit of the ability to network, find out what what are other scenes doing,
big time.
What are they doing to succeed, talking to promoters, getting different ideas.
You can you can get a hold of somebody that hey, so and so on Facebook. Oh man, he's on Facebook, you know. And doesn't mean you're necessarily going to connect, but I mean it's a lot. There's a lot of. I've done that with all kinds of, you know, guys that I was, you know, heroes of mine. It's amazing, you know. You know, it's funny that the band I'm in, Captain Beyond, they're the '70s thing that I've been going on the road. Well, I was a big Jakey Lee fan. He had a band called Badlands, back in like the early '90s, same era of what we're talking about. But his bass player and his drummer, the drummer in Badlands was the singer. I don't know if you remember this shred band, but you remember Racer X?
Yeah.
Sounds very familiar.
Paul Gilbert. Yep. Paul Gilbert, who ended up in Mr. Big. Anyway, it's just funny. These guys are on Facebook, and then you come to find out, like, they're Captain Beyond fans, and all of a sudden you're friends with these guys. You're like, hey man, let me know when you're coming to Phoenix because we'll be, you know. It's just like, what, you know? It's, so Facebook, it's amazing for that kind of stuff. It's just a shame that, you know,
it's so diluted.
People turn it into other things.
Oh yeah.
I mean, man, you used to have to write a letter to the editor to get your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get
I
your
say that
fucking
to my
opinion
wife
here.
all the time. So
Wow.
we'll go to dinner or see a movie or whatever. She's like, well, I didn't like that one bit. I said, why don't you write an angry letter?
Yeah, that's what
Very
you.
strongly worded letter.
That's what you used to have to do, and maybe you'd get it in print.
Mm-hmm.
Now, shit, get on
Oh.
Facebook, man. Get on
That's
Twitter.
it. Everybody's got a soapbox and a
Oh
megaphone.
my God, it's fucking brutal. And it's like, man, you should have to take a fucking IQ test.
Oh.
You know what I mean? You should have to at least be 110 to even be allowed on there.
Oh yeah.
Because I got a feeling there's a lot of fucking 80s and 90s, you know.
Oh,
That's pushing.
I said, man, that's being generous sometimes.
There's probably a lot of 50s and 40s.
God.
Well, actually, that's funny. I was just talking with one of my friends today at work, and I even said if I wasn't in a fucking band,
I wouldn't be on Facebook.
I wouldn't have Facebook.
That's the
I
whole
wouldn't
reason
either.
why I got a Facebook.
Mhm.
I didn't have one before I was
No.
in a band.
That's what I do with it.
I almost predominantly use it for,
Yeah.
you know, pushing the band,
That's it.
posting shows,
Yeah.
trying to move tickets, merch sales out, whatever.
Whatever it takes.
That's almost solely what I use it for, and the occasional funny cat meme, and
Right.
I don't know
Right.
if something royally pisses me off, which doesn't happen all too often.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on that, I prefer to stay off the damn thing.
Right.
But
Yeah, it's good.
But I do really like it for the networking aspect that it was really originally intended for,
Mhm.
and I do like that part of it.
Yep.
Well, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have hooked up with Pat Donovan and the boys from Toy Call God either.
Right, yeah.
Out in
A couple
Cali.
of guys from California. We played a show with them early on. We were chatting, ended up finding them all on Facebook. We talk all the time. Same thing with cats down from Long Island. We got Year of the Locust and Jackknife Stiletto.
Yeah.
And it's nice because, like, two of them are much bigger. Like, they're working with labels, shopping around. They've got multiple albums out. So I like it because it gives me the ability to pick their brain. Like, when we were getting ready to put the album to press, learning about copyrights, learning about trademark rights, all that fun stuff. UPCs, getting sales tracked. I was able to pick their brain a little bit about it and say, you know, figure, okay, where do I start for this? Where can I at least begin to look? Because I like doing the legwork myself. I don't mind it. I mean, sometimes I do when I've got to read through 20 pages of copyright law.
Right.
Super interesting, by the way.
I've kind of read a lot of stuff for
It's very, but, you know, it was nice to learn, okay, this is where I've got to start so I can find the information that I need.
Yep. Yeah, it's good for that. It's great for that.
Right. Whereas, you know, I mean, I remember even early on when I was first trying to get bands going, and we're talking, I mean, my first band that I even really fucked around with was probably 95, and there was no information out there,
Right.
unless, like, you knew somebody.
Yeah.
That's right.
You really were, or you were going to the library and
Yeah,
pretty much...
You're trying to get an address of someone and mailing them a cassette tape and an envelope and putting it in the mail and hoping I mean, you know,
Right.
crazy, but crazy. Some people got places doing that. Most people didn't.
Yeah.
But now, you make a video, put it on YouTube, you can send that fucking thing to Japan, you know, right now, bam, you know, and it's amazing. I mean, it's helped me. I mean, just be able to make a living doing it between everything. It's real useful. But like anything that's, you know, good, there's bad, and there's good and there's evil. There's good ways of using any. So but.
And now for some fucking commercials. It's not dust. Something is coming. Something powerful. From Darker Times, X Priory, CD release show, June 15th, at the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. Your next amplifier? Are you trying to redefine your sound? Do you need that piece of equipment to complement your amazing guitar playing? Well, look no further. Bison Electronics has what you need. Look up Bison Electronics online. Handmade from the ground up in Buffalo, New York.
Ran over my own foot with my truck. Just found out that my dog's got AIDS. But I love America. I love America. Acoustic guitars.
If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory, EXHAM PRIORY, Tuesdays every week. We're back.
I don't know. I mean, it's a different world. It's a different world to try to play music in. And, you go to a big show, and everybody's, watching the show, get their phones out.
Drive
No,
me fucking nuts.
It's like, and like I've asked people, why don't you just, no, I'm still paying attention. I know you are, but it's like think about this. If you were growing up in the 70s and your favorite band was, say, Led Zeppelin, right, and it's 1973, and you've never gone to a Zeppelin concert, you've never probably seen Led Zeppelin. Like, unless you, saw some obscure BBC TV show that they, like, if you wanted to see them, you had to go see them in concert. You had to wait for them to come around and buy a ticket and go see them. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, oh man, YouTube, I saw every tour, I've seen every tour, I've seen every song, and it's just like, it's good, and it's also takes, it's just.
Well, I mean, even just in our era, just trying to get a local band up and running. Street teams are a thing of the past. There's not that anymore. So, we specifically remember standing on street corners, freezing our ass off.
Yeah.
Handbills that we printed ourselves, art paper,
driving around, putting posters up in tops and fucking other places you can.
And then having to do the ring back around because you go back around and see which ones have gotten ripped down by somebody. Like, fuck, they caught that
parking lots and put flyers on windshield wipers.
Right. Yep.
It's the organic part is gone. That grassroots kind of like, thing that made it like, an effort, that kind of effort, but I think all eras, I mean, like, all things have that, look at the cars today. I mean, if you were a car guy in the 50s and 60s and you're looking at these pieces of shit,
you fucking hate them.
You're just like, what the fuck happened? Cars used to be fucking cool. Rock and roll used to be fucking cool. Get off my lawn!
Right?
Get him a beer?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know it's like a Lays potato chip, man.
Right.
You can have just one.
Can't have just one. I'll take one of whatever's in there too.
You got it, dude.
No, but it's
let's see, we got
it's life. It's the world, and with technology, I mean, it's moving like unbelievably fast. I mean,
like just
I mean, think about. This is the thing that blows my mind. This is what 2018.
Yeah.
100 years ago. Thank you, brother. There weren't no televisions.
That, and I got beer. I hope.
Right? There were no TVs. They were just maybe 10 years into having all the cars. 100 years later, I mean, in 100 years, it took 1900 years of this vast, obscure, no world without television. Then also radio. But I mean, think about it. It's fucking, it's insane what's happened. And I mean, like, dude, if you would have told like my dad that in your lifetime you're gonna see a dude riding his bike down the street talking on a phone,
right?
You'd say you're out of your fucking mind.
Seriously.
I'm assuming people are getting run over walking across the street texting like they're walking across the street in a big city fucking with their phone and getting run over. They have to be.
Daily.
They
It
have to
happens.
be.
I almost hit one every day coming down Buffalo Avenue before I turn onto the Grand Island Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking about that, people on bikes, the thing that freaks me out the most in the wintertime are the people that ride
Riding
their
a bike
bicycles
in a snowstorm.
in the snowstorm.
I always told my son, I says, Jude, if you see a guy riding a bike and he's got like the stretch pants on, and I go, that dude's riding for like his health and he's competitive. I go, if you see a dude riding a bike smoking a cigarette, he's lost his license. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
He does not have a driver's license. The guy with the spandex probably has a driver's license. He's riding because he wants to ride.
Yeah.
The dude riding a bike, got a bag hanging off and a cigarette going.
Right.
That dude lost his license.
Yeah.
Something happened to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing.
Yep.
If you got to ride the bike, fine.
Hey man,
ride the bike.
It's worse.
Don't do it in the fucking snow.
Right.
When there's a travel ban and I got to go
Right.
around you, because that's the time you're gonna bite it and slide under my truck. Don't fucking do it.
You know what you got to take Frank Zappa's advice in that particular situation. Don't make a fuss. Just get on the bus.
There we go.
But yeah, I don't know how we got into the guy smoking on the 10-speed, but handlebars up.
Right.
That's how conversations work with
Just
us.
fucking rolling.
Yeah, but yeah, it's.
Well, even speaking about the phone, even the technology now putting Bluetooth in motorcycle helmets. That's fucking crazy.
It's nuts, man.
Listen, I'm still mind blown by the fact that motorcycles have radios.
Yeah.
That freaks me out a little bit. I'm
Well,
like,
yeah, you tell it right. Tell some old biker cat from like I said, you're gonna have radios and people are gonna be on it.
Although I don't really trust your knowledge when it comes to motorcycles, because it wasn't until you bought the one I sold you that you found out that motorcycles had front brakes.
I'm not saying that my old bikes were good at all. At all.
I mean, you don't really need the front brake, but yeah, they do come equipped with front brakes.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy, my wife's best friend's husband used to own what was called Custom Cycle on Pine, and John Ferrari. Yeah, that dude could build it. He was a Harley guy, but then he started building his own bikes. I mean, kind of like when not really a lot of guys were building their own bikes. You know, what I mean, it's talk. I mean, I was listening to him and this other guy the other night talk. And they're talking bikes, and I'm listening. I'm going, man, these dudes know what the fuck's up. I mean, like, you listen to somebody that could build a bike from fucking scratch. It's impressive.
Jay Branger's the exact same way.
Well, that's who he worked with.
Oh.
That's where he
Small
learned.
Fucking world.
That's where he learned.
Small fucking world.
Jay
I used to date Jay's daughter way back in the day.
Nina?
Yep. 5 years ago.
Small world.
Sharper than I look.
Yeah. Another guitar player that I never see out ever. Although I think she's definitely focused more on like the acting and the vocal performances.
Okay.
So
I thought maybe she just got civilized and got a job and stuff.
No.
Still living the dream.
Yep. Still doing her thing. Yeah, she used to be able to shred on that guitar too. She had fuck. I can just picture the headstock. It looked like an L almost.
Parker Fly.
Yep. Parker Fly. She
I
used
saw
to
a
play.
dude playing one of those not too long ago. Those are funky guitars.
They were expensive.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
I don't think they were mass produced. You know what I mean? They were kind of. The
But
worst ever though were those fucking Steinbergers.
I can never get into those.
No headstock, little cigar box shaped body.
Bare body.
Fucking Devin still plays those.
It just seemed like that was so 80s though.
Yeah.
When the 80s were, I mean, see that's funny because I started playing in '84, so unfortunately, I had a mullet. There was a lot of problems, at that time.
Well, I mean,
But
it was the time.
right,
You know.
and if you wanted girls to pay attention, you sort of had to have some sense of current, like how to look, and there were like fluorescent colors were in, and Beverly Hills 90210 was very, it was just terrible. It was fucking terrible. I was still watching Sanford and Son, Good Times. And
Fuck yeah, man.
I always like the old 70s black sitcoms. They were just,
Hell yeah. That's where it's at, man.
yeah, I mean, it's,
That was real
Quincy,
life.
Quincy Jones wrote the theme to Sanford and Son. My God.
Right.
I mean, he's just a different, and the famous studio guitarist that was on every television show, like every theme song of every television show, starting with Bonanza and the Munsters all the way through, dude, like Three's Company. It was Tommy Tedesco.
Yeah,
Niagara
Tommy.
Falls' own Tommy Tedesco.
No shit.
He got the title of the most recorded guitarist in history.
Damn.
He grew up on 22nd in Pine.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to meet him when he was getting pretty old by the time I met him. But I mean, he's the guitar on the Munsters.
Damn.
He's the guitar on Bonanza. He's the guitar on MASH, Love Boat, Three's Company.
Shit.
That's Tommy.
Damn.
Pine Avenue Tommy. He moved out to LA in the 50s, late 50s, and he started because back then you had to be able to read music if you were a studio, and Tommy was a sight reading machine. He was a machine. And he's on Beach Boy albums. He's on Monkees albums. He was on Simon and Garfunkel records. I mean, he was on stuff that people think, oh, the Beach Boys. Well, they got their own guitar player. Yeah, they do when you go see them live. But in the studio, those guys, Tommy would come in, boom, put it down, put the score, boom, 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 boom. Tommy would rip that shit. Movie after movie after movie. The Rocky soundtracks, The Godfather. It was ridiculous.
So it was just like a studio hired gun then.
That's what it was.
Damn.
He said he'd do two jobs a day, sometimes three. He used to write a column in Guitar Player magazine, and his column every month would be like, he would just tell you about a job that he did, with this composer, with this conductor. This is how it worked. We showed up at 9 o'clock. He goes, I worked for 2 hours. Then he would always put hours worked, wages earned. You would see 3 hours worked, $1,500. He'd make $1,500 before lunch,
Shit.
and then go do another session. And then people would come back. A couple months later, hey Tommy, remember that song you recorded? It's #1. He goes, I don't remember doing it. Like that's how intense. Yeah. That's how intense and how much he worked. And he was a great guy. My parents knew him, and Jerry D'Amico knew him. Jerry D'Amico knew him very well. And Tommy was funny because he got real big as he got older. And by the time he was getting really old, he was always just playing his nylon string. And he sat down. He always sat when he played. And he goes, I got to the point. He goes, well, my gut is so big. He goes, I only got 1.5 inches left out of my knee to put the guitar on. He goes, so people go, Tommy, when are you going to retire? I say, another 1.5 inches.
Oh, it's perfect.
He was great. He was great, man. He invited me to his house. I was fucking drying off cars at Delta Sonic. I was 18, 19. And he had a famous mug, he had a pair of these kind of shades, goatee, and he wore this this hat. It was kind of like I don't know what you call it, but it was just a certain kind of funky hat. And Jerry D'Amico carried his brand of guitar strings, and so that face was every time I walk in for a guitar lesson at Jerry, I'd see the Tommy Tedesco strings, and Tommy just had this instantly recognizable brand look,
Right.
So I'm driving off the cars one day at Delta, and this Lincoln's coming through, and I'm going, holy fuck, it's fucking Tommy T. Are you fucking kidding me? And instead of driving the car off, I knock on the window, you Tommy Tedesco? He's like, yeah. He's go by the conveyor belt, and his wife was driving, he didn't drive, and he's like, yeah, you play. My hair was down. He goes, yeah. He goes, oh man, keep playing. I'm shaking his hand as he was going. I never even drive the car off, But so I went home and I told my mother, Mom, Tommy Tedesco came through. She goes, oh, I know his wife Carmen. My mother's best friend Margie is Tommy's cousin through marriage, blah blah blah. And the next time he was home, he had a house on Grand Island, I mean, he lived in L.A., but he had this sick house on Grand Island that he probably spent 6 weeks a year at.
Mm-hmm.
So the one year he was home, the next year he was home, my mother put it together, and I went over his house in a snowstorm and like sat with this dude, and it was like, and he was so fucking cool. He answered the door in his pajamas, and he was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I thought I was early because he was wearing pajamas.
Right.
I go, Tommy, oh man, he goes, hey, how's it going? I go, hey. I go, oh man, am I early? Let me come back, and he's like, no, I'm like this all day. And he's eating this sandwich, and we're talking, and the crumbs are falling on his chest hair and shit. And I was, this fucking guy's awesome, man. He was so cool. And I mean, it's staggering how what he, you know, and people know him, but I mean, like I said, like they see, I mentioned it too. You know, oh yeah, he was like, he played with everybody. Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, because he was they knew. You need a guitar player that's going to read the score, and that's how music was played back then. You know, you hire a band, they know how to read music.
Yeah.
Boom. And Tommy was the man. So this guy, I mean, talk about. I mean, you know, then he has a book. I read the book, his bio. It's just insane. He was hanging out with Sammy Davis Jr. and all these guys. I mean, it's just incredible. It's like, you know, but he was a musician. He wasn't a rock star.
Yeah.
You know, what I mean, big, huge difference.
Right. You
know, he was, you know. They go, Tommy, they want to put you in a movie. And he goes, a movie? Like, you know, he's not playing. Like, and Tommy's like, he goes, no, they need a good-looking actor. He goes, no, they said they need a guy that looks like a trucker from Detroit. I go, I'll be right down.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. Anyway, got off on a
Yeah,
Tommy
fucking-
tangent.
No, that's what it's all about, man.
So, I mean, it's definitely a highlight. We got some solid stuff around here. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned Jerry D'Amico,
Mhm.
amazing on, you know, piano and what he did. And one I always like to talk about and just sit and oogle over as he plays is Frank Rosani.
He's my hero.
Mhm.
Still my hero.
Right? I mean, man, he just wails.
So smooth. His tone is you know, pristine.
Mm-hmm.
He sings his ass off, you know, plays, sings, you know. Frank shows up at a gig, dude. He fucking sets up the PA, sets up his guitar rig. You know, I mean, he's, you know, something breaks on the fucking PA, he fixes that. Something goes wrong with an amp, he could fix everything. I mean, it's like, you know, these guys, that's what I'm saying, they're on the way out. And when they're gone, they're gone.
No.
There's not, you know, because even my generation ain't like that generation where, like I'm saying, like, not only can they play, but they can set guitars up, and they can fix amps, and they can build pedals. I mean, they you know, it's amazing. You know, they're like Renaissance guys, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to be able to do things because there wasn't a bunch of guys like that you could call when something went wrong. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
they had to, you know, figure it out for themselves, and you know,
Yep.
and it adds to the character of the way they sound. You know, as weird as that, you know.
No, I mean, there's a little piece of them in everything they got.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's not, that won't sound the same as one that you go off to a store and buy off
That's
the
right.
shelf because maybe he's got a different resistor in there or something.
Right.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. It's Grisani. He's just great. Any chance I get to go see him, I do. You know, whenever I'm done at 9 o'clock and he's playing till 11 over, man, I'm there. You know, I get my ass there, and because it's, you know, I mean, these guys, the guys, they're, you know, they're getting there.
Right.
They're upper 60s. You know what I mean? And but that's the other thing too. I mean, you think about these guys are all going to be in a few years. Some of these guys that I go out and see that are my guys I grew up with, they're going to be 70.
Mhm.
But they're still badass. They're still crushing it. They don't look 70. They don't act it. They don't play like it's like shit, man. Rock and roll can keep you young in a lot of ways, you know. And yeah, like you're saying, you always watch guys when you're. I've always been that guy. I go out and I just study the guitar player,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I try to take everybody in, but of course, just magnetically as a guitar player, you watch the guitar player.
Yeah.
I watch bass player. That's what I
Now,
do.
every once in a while, you'll go see somebody, and all of a sudden you're drawn to an odd, you know, the person that you don't, and then you know that guy's got something going on, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I forget what was it. That was it. I didn't watch the guitar player because I was looking. That wasn't a girl, But it was yeah, these chick singers. I mean, yeah, you know, that's whatever. Anyway, sorry about that. Be here all week.
Hey-oh.
The 1625 Buff Ave.
There you go. Attention, Scott Leffler.
That's right. It's a good Leffler. It's a very good. It's a nice Irish.
Yeah, it's a good name.
It's wholesome. You know, from a long chain of Lefflers.
Yeah, wholesome. We'll fix that.
Now for a few more commercials.
Catch Jamie Holcomb with Bruce Wojcik as the Brothers of Invention play the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York, Wednesday, June 20th at 9 p.m. Serving up some of your favorite songs while the bartender serves up some cold drinks. Wednesday, June 20th at 9 p.m. River Pub. Then, see Jamie Holcomb solo on Friday, June 29th at the River Pub. Partying for happy hour, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls. See you at the pub.
Deborah, the Bros are back.
Hey Alexa, add crystal butt plug to my shopping list.
I added crystal butt plug to your shopping list.
Yes.
Our boss, he just keeps leaving that plugged in, so I'm going to take full fucking advantage of this
Crystal
shit.
butt plugs.
Yep.
Every episode, the shopping list gets a little longer.
A little longer, a little weirder.
Wow.
Like we were saying, dude, fucking technology, man.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
insane. That's
And-
insane.
Right.
Like, I mean,
It's
shit,
insane.
even fucking 5-7 years ago, if you had told me I could cadence out a name and a machine would
Come
respond to me,
Right.
Right.
like, no, you're fucking with me. You've watched Back to the Future way too many fucking
Right.
times.
I know. It's here.
Right?
That stuff is here. Everything that they, you know, with the exception of, you know, flying cars, I mean, everything is here. I mean, all this stuff. I mean, I remember them saying, you know, someday you're going to be able to talk to somebody on the phone. You're going to be able to see them while you're talking to them. And you're like, yeah, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, FaceTime with somebody. Oh, here we go. You know,
Yep.
I mean, Skype, you know, it's like, jeez, man, it's
Yeah, it's crazy.
it is, it's nuts. And it moves, and the technology moves so fast.
Mhm.
But, you know, there's no, I mean, like, going back to the old technology, you listen to the old vinyl records and when they did things on tape, before Pro Tools, before things had there's just something about the way things sound now. And I mean, we're all at the mercy of it. Like, you just go into a studio and it's just so much faster and easier for the guys to access things with the digital stuff. I mean, you would need money. You need a lot of money to find a guy, because I just talked to a guy about this. You'd need someone that not only does that, but it's going to takes more time. You know what I mean? And time is of the essence. All that. But I mean, those old records that were recorded that way, they sounded. That's why that's another reason why they all sounded different.
Yeah.
Because there was that personality of a live room and hearing, you know, all the little,
Right.
not necessarily imperfections, but just the warmth of the way that stuff sounded when you put something on tape and then onto vinyl. You know, now with everything being digital, it's like it loses like levels of, you know, the organic. There's that word again, but the organic. I don't know.
It loses its body up because we were. It's funny when we finished recording the album. Our producer Johnny, he went through and he mixed and mastered everything, but he approached it two different ways. We have two versions of the album actually.
Mm-hmm.
One is a more modern style, you know, where they pretty much put everything right up front
Mm-hmm.
because it's all about that stereo just pumping.
Right.
The second version that we actually ended up going with, that we put to press, is less compressed. It's pretty much like a band set up in a room. You got your vocals up front in the middle, you got your guitars, your bass, your drums a little bit further back, so it breathes pretty
Right.
much. It's got that little bit of extra space to
Sure.
it,
Yeah.
which makes it work. And
Sure.
I never really would have thought of it all that much, but when I listened to both of them back to back, I'm like, wow, it really does make a difference. While as the one version, it sounded pretty. It was definitely pumping. Like, it could make a fucking speaker move, but
Mm-hmm.
it was missing something. But when I listened to that second version, I'm like, oh, that was the one I kind of dimmed the lights on, sat back on the couch, nice quiet room, and then let that one blare. I'm like, yeah, this is what I remember.
Right.
And I don't know how you, now, when you're in studio, do you prefer live off the floor? Do you prefer tracked with, I mean...
It was always like we did an album up in Toronto back at the end of the 90s, and we tried to get as much live as we could.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you would go back and fix, you know, a little mistake here, a little mistake there. That's how the I'll get it to you when you said the One Big Magic album we did. I mean, it was done on tape. I got the tapes still. And,
do you have like a circle on the, like a colorful circle
got,
on the album cover?
I think I got one. I think I got one in the car because people have been. It's kind of remember Mike Mahawish?
Yeah.
Mike was like, "Hey, you still got?" I go, "Yeah, I got a box of these fucking things." And so I've been like passing these out now, you know, because they've been sitting there. So, you know, back then I was like, "Well, we'll get 500 to start,
right.
And then after we sell those, we'll get another 500. Well, you sell 300 and you fucking sit on 200 for fucking 20 years, and you're like, well, maybe I should start giving these out as like stocking stuff.
If it's the one thing, I remember when you got the proofs for the album cover, actually. I remember you bringing them into D'Amico's because obviously that's where Jamie and I met, was at D'Amico's Music. And actually where I met Mark Paroli too for the first fucking time face to face. But I remember you coming in and showing like, hey, check this out. I just got these in. I gotta get them approved and sent back.
Well, and that, you know how long? I mean, that took us like. It took us probably 3 years because we wanted to do everything in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
We opened up for a band called April Wine. They were kind of a 70s Canadian. They had some big tunes.
Right.
We opened for them one time, met their road crew. The road crew turned out to be guys that worked for this studio. Studio turned out to be owned by the guitar player from, do you remember I Mother Earth?
Yeah.
And so we started going, we said, well, let's make an album up there. Like, fuck going around here. Everybody does around here. We're going to go up there. Well, we did. But, I mean, it was like by the time we would get, like, let's say it was, you know, $400 a day for the studios, and we'd say, okay, well, we'll save up $800. We'll go up, we'll book a weekend, we'll go up, and we'll, you know, record Saturday, Sunday, come home. I mean, you know, how long it took us to, like, accumulate $800 from our gigs, then go up there, record, come back, play your gigs, accumulate another $800, go back. I mean, this went on and on and on and on and on. And then finally we got the record done, and then we wanted to mix it. And so then we wanted to mix it in a nicer place. So we went to this place called Wellesley. Guy had his shit together big time. And he was in the Q107, the 107 house band on the radio.
All right.
He knew his shit, Steve Major. He mixed it. That cost I don't know how much money. And then we learned through a guy that we could have the CD mastered at Metalworks, which Metalworks did Rush and Kim Mitchell. Well, the guy that mastered our CD's name was Nick Blagona, who I just went and sat with a couple months ago. Nick Blagona was at the controls for Deep Purple, Machine Head. Smoke on the Water, Highway Star.
Oh.
He did Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers. He's done all the Kim Mitchell stuff, all these Canadian acts. He's done the Tea Party. He's 74 years old. He's still doing it. And so then we had to pay Nick fucking $500 to come and master. Like, we paid Nick $500 for him to put. He was there 4 hours, so Nick was making $100+ an hour. And here we are sitting in Metalworks. And that album, dude, I mean, it took us probably 3 years and probably like $7,000. You know, that's how long it took us to do it. It took a long fucking time. But we were just out there, you know, and we would open up our night with a set of originals, and by the time we were really getting, we says, well, here's what we got to do if we want to make some more money. Jeffrey, our singer, was a very Jim Morrison kind of dude. We did a set of originals, then we'd come out second set, and we'd do 90 minutes of Doors. We just play all Doors shit, you know. And before you know it, Doors sold, you know, and people get it. They get the Doors, you know. And so yeah, that's kind of how we would fund. That's how we funded making a record. Then we had another record ready, and the SARS virus took over Toronto, and half of us we put $1,000 down payment. Now we were going to record at the place we mixed at, and which was another step up. And half the band was raring to go. And the other half was like, I don't want to go up there, man. They got the SARS virus. I'm like, what are you, fucking nuts? We're going to be in the fucking studio, in the fucking shitty hotel room, in the studio, and go home.
Right.
That SARS. What the fuck? I never forget, we lost it, and that was the beginning of the band. So we had written, and then we had done some demos. I mean, by the time it was all said and done, that little lineup probably wrote 40 songs, and we just, we ran our course. And but I listen back to it today, and I go, man, it was ambitious. It was a good record. It was different. The songs were, but it was made on tape. It was done on 2-inch tape.
Oh, shit.
And I still got the four reels in my basement.
Nice.
I mean, just the tape alone's expensive. I mean, it's you know what I mean? Like, it's, you like when you eliminate that, like with the way they do it. I mean, you're eliminating. I mean, like those rolls were probably like $250 a roll. So it was probably $1,000 in fucking tape.
Oh yeah.
So, but man, you do get what you pay for in life, and so that was the way we always did it. We started out recording at Dennis Fura's place, which is Border City. He's still there. On if you go up Lockport Road, you know where the Walmore Inn is?
Yeah.
If you go up Corey Drive,
Yep.
over the tracks.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep, he's over there. He's still there. Dennis is great. He's sharp. And Dennis, we would record on 1-inch tape when we first started, and then we graduated. But it's just the way his setup was. It was tape's cheaper.
Right.
I've got reels of tape from Dennis. I've got reels of tape. I've got just reels of tape from what we used to do. We used to go record stuff in the 90s. Me and John Rysick, my bass player at the time, John's a prolific songwriter, and I was a riff man. So I would write the riffs, John would write the words, and we would just go record. We weren't even a band. We would just go, we got these 3 songs here. Let's go to Dennis's record. We'd get different guys, different drummers, different singers, and we used to just go and record, write tunes, and go record them,
Oh, shit.
And it was funny because they weren't even intended to be played out. It was a project we did. We were always doing other, but then we did form a band together, and we did write, that stuff. But anyway, yeah, I mean, just it's funny. But I mean.
And now for some fucking commercials. It's not dust. Something is coming. Something powerful. From Darker Times, X Priory, CD release show, June 15th, at the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York. If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory, EXHAMPRIORY, Tuesdays every week. We're back, and for some reason you're still listening.
Very tough to make money on originals, as you guys know.
Yep.
So, as time went on, you bit the bullet a little bit and said, well, I got to make, that's the other thing you decide. If I'm going to make a living, and I haven't been discovered, well, and you got to play cover tunes, you got to play songs people know. Mm-hmm. And but then that's when I started putting the twist on. I was like, well, what if I do play songs everybody knows? What if I could play all 4 parts? Then that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like then it's not, it's I'm not doing what's already been done. And that's always appealing. Can you do something? Because everything's been done, can you do something that hasn't been done? And even like I said, if you can have this much originality,
Right.
It's so hard to do these days because it's all been done.
There's guys like us that stand there and watch it. How the fuck does he do that?
Well, but I mean that's the thing too. I mean the amount of time I fucking studied and took lessons. I mean like when I went back and studied with Frank Gerard, he's out in Blaisdell. Mm-hmm. Dude, I went to him for almost fucking 8 years. He was a jazzer and he just bludgeoned me with theory and. And I wasn't the biggest theory guy. I mean, I wasn't. I knew enough to play what I was playing, and I always knew what I was playing. Like I never played something and went, oh, I don't know what that is. maybe certain little chords, but once I started working with Frank, it became like, well, I'm gonna learn as much as I can because if I'm gonna do this shit for a living, and I'm gonna start playing these solo gigs, and then one thing kind of, but it always happens. It's unintentional what it becomes from what you thought it was gonna be.
Oh yeah.
You thought it was gonna be this. I'm gonna do this, and this is gonna happen. So yeah, then you do this, but then that happens, and you're like, I mean, there's no
Fix the formula and try again.
Yeah, like I said, 1 + 1 does not equal 2 in music. It's just, it just doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it led me into this band. I've been doing bands for fucking years, and I've gotten sick of it. I'm like, I'm done. I just want to do my acoustic thing. I'll do covers, make actual fucking money off of this.
Right.
And
Well,
I tried, I tried it for a while, and like, all right, I'm making some money off of this. I'm actually making a little bit of a living.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, this is it. I'll be that guy now. There's plenty of them out there. I'll be that guy in this and whatever. After a bit, I'm like, you know what? This just isn't working for me. I'm missing something. I hate being alone on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I started reaching out to other assholes that also play. I'm like, hey, you got nothing going on right now, right?
Right.
Let's try something together and see what happens.
That was the exact phrase that was used on me.
Exactly.
So you're not doing anything. Right?
Dude, you still playing bass? I haven't touched in about 8 months. So you're not doing anything right now. Look, I've got something going on. You want to come jam?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's room to do, several things. I found that out. I mean, that's how I've been able to make a living, is not just doing one thing one way all the time.
Right.
I mean, I know guys, like I says, that are like 10, 15 years older than me, that I mean, in the 70s, you could have a band, cover band, and you could play 4 or 5 nights a week and make a living, in this area, and nobody had to play in another band. Like, it was unheard of that you were in 2 bands.
Oh, yeah.
Unheard of.
I got actually a guy at work that I work with used to be Talus's big competition back in the day. It was a band called Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing. They actually made enough money to buy a house, and that's what they practiced.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is insane now.
Well, look at Talus. I mean, speaking of Talus, I mean, Talus started out playing all cover tunes.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, I mean, Billy was Billy. He still is. It became, they started writing tunes. The Beatles started out playing covers. I mean, covers.
Everybody did.
Covers got a bad rap from certain eras of original music, but there was also the argument that I had seen this too with certain guys that say, "Oh no, man, I play originals, man, I don't play covers." And then you come to find out they can't play covers. They don't have an ear. They have to play what they come up with, and that only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, that's cool doing your own thing, but that's what, like I said, when I was talking to these kids back then, it's like, well, guys, I'll show you this stuff, but I mean, is it going to make you a musician? Like a versatile musician? No, it won't. This is what you want to do. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do. That was my other thing is a guy that gave lessons. I always says, what do you want to do? For the most part, if the person had some, inquisitive, like, hey, how come these chords went like this? And then you can start talking about some theory. But if they didn't ask, it was like if you shove it down someone's throat, then they quit the next week or the next month. And it's like, well, is everybody going to be famous? Is everybody trying to? They're doing it because they like it. They're doing it because they want to learn some of their favorite songs. So show them some of their favorite songs. And maybe, after they learn a couple, maybe they'll have a question, like about, hey, man, how'd they put that together? How come they did? Oh, well, these chords are, in a key, and, so that's how I've always looked at it, Because my wife would always be like, you don't teach everybody how to read music? I'm like, no, it's fucking guitar.
Right.
Guitar play. I mean, they don't want to, it's, I used to start out, make it, and then a kid would come in after a couple months, I don't learn the song, man. I'm like, okay. And guess what? After you learn fucking how to play When I Come Around or something, and you've been playing the fucking Mel Bay, method book number 1, and you're playing fucking, Havanagili or some fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Camptown Races, you're like, guess what? You ain't going back to Mel Bay after you learned your favorite. You know what I mean? You just ain't.
Yeah.
But it was funny because when I took lessons, I was forced to learn how to read, and I did. I'm glad I did. I was forced to. it wasn't like I'd bring in my my tunes there, and he'd be like Jim Jakovich. He'd be like, all right, well, we'll learn that deep purple tune, but we're you gotta know the fucking all strings. You gotta know okay. So it was militant, and I could take it. I says, okay, I wanted to know all that stuff. Some people don't care that much. They're like, I just want to know.
I wish I never got rid of it because music is another language.
Sure,
I can talk the language,
right,
but I forgot how to read it.
Right.
So it's just, and to me, like I didn't care about that before. Now I do.
That's right. That's what happens.
It's just one more thing to keep in your pocket to make you that much better.
But that's just it. When you start out as a kid, you got all these ideas and these tastes and stuff. And 20 years later, you show me one person. There's very few people that are in the exact same mindset that they were.
Yeah, exactly.
Very few. You know, if they are, they're probably a little fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
they're probably gonna try to take over.
If you're still, amazed at, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. That's how it is. So you keep your doors open. You try to keep your mind open to, to all of it. And if you think something's worth investigating, you do it.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
That's all it is. Because like I said, there's no one way to do it. I mean, it just ain't.
Right. I mean, that's always why like when I would bring song, it was something where okay, I kind of understand how the rhythm riff from Crazy Train, I wanted to, okay, how does that work? What's the picking concept? What he's obviously not doing regular chords there. Somewhere up here where I haven't ventured yet.
Right.
I need to understand that. So show me how to play this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I get it. We can go beyond the first 5 metal thingies.
Right.
As my brain took at the time.
Right.
I can go up this way. Now I understand. Down here it's not just rhythm. Up here could be rhythm too. I get it.
What's funny too is what he's saying. He's going up here, down here. Do you know how many people when you're giving a lesson, you show something, they go, oh, you mean down here? And I go, no, up there.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, you mean up here? I go, no, down there.
No.
That's gone on forever.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, here we go again. That's up.
It's above the 12.
Like, oh, up here I can go up this way. I got it now.
Actually,
this isn't just solo world.
Right.
This could be rhythm world.
It was kind of funny. Like I was recently watching an interview with Doyle. He was talking about somebody guest spotting on his interview or his record for a solo. And he was like, keep it simple, keep it slow, keep it below the 12.
Yeah, man. So like you're saying, I mean, it's evolution. It's hopefully it is.
Right.
Hopefully it keeps evolving and you keep finding things out as you go along.
Yeah.
It's life.
That's the fun of it too. There's always something new to find
Always.
out. Now,
Absolutely.
a different way to go about something. You've done an
Always.
E chord this way for so long. Oh wait. So and if I move this finger here, I can make it sound a little bit different, a little bit darker, a little bit bright.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a different approach to it that.
Yeah, it's infinite.
Actually, my new favorite thing to do is try to figure out how to play the same song in different tunings. Like if I grab the wrong guitar on stage, because usually you've seen us, he runs with 9 fucking guitars.
Mm-hmm.
I normally have 2, so if I grab the wrong one and it's in a drop D instead of a standard, I know how to do it just on the fly.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's my new favorite hobby.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta throw yourself curveballs, man. I mean, or else you'll stay the same, when it comes to the playing stuff. I mean, and it's easy to do. Everybody gets in ruts, but you gotta know how to get in and out of them. And for me, the solo guitar approach was a big, thing with that because no 2 songs are alike at all ever. When you're doing it, it's nuts. And I started learning tunes that have a lot of changes in them. Like I'm a huge Steely Dan fan, and I mean there is just they don't play any 4-song chords. They just don't. Their tunes are all insane. I mean the amount of fucking chords in a Steely Dan tune. I mean, but again, that's something that growing up I heard that stuff on the radio and it appealed to me. I mean it's not everybody's gonna have a different reference point of that music that's really like something for them that isn't the obvious wasn't the obvious thing that maybe you paid attention to growing up, but it was like subliminal because it was being played, like I said, on the radio in the car or something it wasn't a direct part of your, life, but somehow it was, I mean, my house, the radio was always on. My mother always listened to the radio. Wake up in the morning, press the radio. There's a radio in the living room, decent stereo, system. She woke up, put on the radio, just pop tunes, pop tunes of the day. That's what my brother was listening to Jethro Tull and Beatles and all those bands in the basement. And then when he moved out, my sister took his room and she was listening to Rick James and Earth, Wind and Fire and all the fucking kind of shit that you could dance to. And I'd go down the street to my buddy's house and he'd have the new, Aerosmith album on. And so it's just everywhere you went, someone was into something.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh no, I'm not into music, man.
It's actually kind of
Everybody was
funny.
into
Which I
something.
run into a lot of now. Like, I like throwing this on in the background, but I'm not really like diehard into anything. It's like, what do you mean you're not diehard into any type of? There's no like even genre that you're like, dude, I love hip hop or I love classic
Something.
rock.
Yeah.
I run into it all the time now where there's people just aren't.
They're indifferent.
Yeah, they're indifferent
Yeah,
to
that
music,
bugs
and
me.
it's like,
I think a
what
lot
the
of it
hell?
has to do with that whole dance club thing, where as long as there's a backbeat that you can dance to, it really doesn't matter
Right.
what's playing.
Right.
And that
They're not listening to anything intricately.
exactly. They're
Right.
listening for a beat, and
Yeah, it's just noise to move along to.
Right.
Whereas, I mean, like we said, music is a language, and it crosses all, verbal language barriers.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, like, when Rammstein came out.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
I really, did I really understand all the lyrics that were being said? No, but in time I actually learned what they meant, so I could really more appreciate what they were doing. But, just the composure and everything, it was something different. It was solid. It was different from what I was used to.
Sure.
Because at that point I had been raised on CCR, Hendrix, Metallica.
Well, now why did you listen to that? Because your parents?
That's just what was played around me. Yeah, my parents. I mean,
There you
my grandfather, who I was always with, big band music, Sinatra.
There you go. So it's always, that's what I'm saying, that some way, shape, or form at some point, it kind of, like, it surfaces again in your life, and you're like, man, that's what my mother always told me. She'd put me to sleep, and she'd put this little radio above the crib, and she'd put on, like, this station played a lot of Sinatra music, and when I started studying the jazz stuff, I was playing all these old standards, all those kinds of songs, and it was like, man, and I took to it pretty quick, and I'm like, then you realize, well, when I was fucking a baby, I was listening to it.
Yep.
Not paying attention to it, but I mean,
there's a familiarity to it.
but I mean, I remember when I was at Berkeley for that year, I remember I was stuck on this Dweezil Zappa record, and it was sick, and I would fall asleep with that on my headphones, and I remember writing so many tunes in that little span of time, and so much of it was influenced by that one record. And when I came back from Berkeley, it was funny because I had all these tunes written. It had nothing to do with the fact that I was taking music classes all day. It really didn't. It was the fact that I was like listening while I slept to this album over and over. And I got real heavy into King's X at that time too. And that's another band that I'm telling you, man, for like guys like you, that's the perfect fucking marriage of metal. But their fucking 3-part harmonies are insane, and they're just. That's one of those bands. They should, to me, I'm thinking this is one of the greatest bands ever, and they never rose above, like, an opening act on a major tour, or when they were on their own tour, they were playing clubs.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there you go. To me, my opinion, my taste, they should have been, AC/DC status. Never happened. They were opening for AC/DC. That's as far as they got with.
Right.
But I just thought that was brilliant. They took like metal with these kind of Beatlesque vocals, and just did something that I'd never heard before. And so yeah, I mean, so look at bands like that. They've done well for themselves, but they wanted that top level, and they didn't get there commercially. But so what? Fuck. I mean, that's
Right, but something always comes back around me. Like, what? My solo acoustic stuff, it's all Hilltop, it's all 50s, 60s, 70s. Yeah, I get a little into the 80s and modern stuff more so because there's songs that no one should ever play solo ever.
Right.
Like Britney Spears, just
Right.
because it makes me laugh. I think it's fun.
Bleed, which actually turns out very well, by the way.
Told you.
Yeah.
Random stuff just because.
Right.
Why, I can. I want
Why not?
my own interpretation on it.
That's right.
Why not? For our band, there's one song on the album that you could definitely tell I wrote most of because it's been the classic rock song. It sounds like a classic rock
Right.
tune.
Right.
And you could tell it was me that really had most of the writing process on that.
Right.
But yeah, it always, what you grew up with, it always kind of floats back to the surface in one way, shape, or form.
It does. I mean, especially if this is what you're doing, like you're doing music, and it's like, that stuff's in there. It's in there somewhere, know. And when the time is right, it reveals itself.
Right.
So I think why I'm just a little bit nuts when it comes to that, because I was always all over the place with music.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd go from King Diamond to Sinatra to Muddy Waters to Ludacris. It's just I was all over the place. It was just it's what I liked. It was something enjoyable about that.
If it's if it's good music, that's I mean.
Right. It makes you feel good.
Right. There's not. But you get around certain people and they're like, oh, what are you listening to that for? It's like, fuck you, man. I will listen to what I like.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is. It's not, and I've broken guys' balls. I remember, I had my buddy Carl, man. I'd catch him listening to Bon Jovi, and I'd be like, dude, man, it's unacceptable, But who were at Bon Jovi concerts? All the fucking hottest girls in the world.
Oh yeah.
So okay, I get it. I couldn't personally, I couldn't bring myself to succumb to listening to that, but I get why and how and
yeah, you see the appeal.
I get it.
Sometimes you're just drunk by a campfire and you just want to yell to the stars.
You just want to sing fucking "Wanted Dead or Alive."
Yeah, why not?
Sometimes
but
I
will tell you, in the privacy of when I'm driving a car, and I'm not saying this like some cool dude. When a Bon Jovi song comes, cause I got a regular radio usually. When a Bon Jovi song comes on the radio, you've never seen a reflex so fast, dude. I fucking changed it. I swear, it's just one of those bands for me because they were huge when I was growing up. They were the shit.
Yeah.
And I was just like that Slippery When Wet album was out, and I was in high school. I'm like, man, this is terrible. I was listening to fucking, like I said, Deep Purple Machine, Led Zeppelin 4. I'm like, you give love a bad name?
Yeah.
Really?
See, I'm the same way with Creed. I can't say
Terrible.
Creed.
Nah.
Musically, they were all right.
Right, but it's
Scott Stapp's got the same monotone vocal singing pattern.
It's terrible.
I can't get my head around.
And look they were huge, but look how brief it was.
Yeah.
It was so brief.
Real brief.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Very, as fast as you go up is as fast as you go down a lot of times. And, that's kind of why, like Pearl Jam, if you look at them, why they can still, if they went on a tour right now, they'd be selling out the 20,000 seaters.
Oh,
because they didn't make videos. They only made a couple videos on MTV when MTV was still doing. They didn't they kept it kind of low key for the popularity that they could have. They could have really milked that, but I think they were smart the way they did it. And again, when they first came out, I was like, yeah, kind of get it, And I've learned to like them more. Guns N' Roses is another band. Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi were the two hugest bands when I was in high school, and I listened to neither one of them. And I was in a band, and they're like, hey, man, we're going to do Rocket Queen by, Guns N' Roses. And I'm like, I learned it, and It's So Easy, another Guns N' Roses. And I started saying, okay, all right, this is the side of this is the earlier Guns N' Roses stuff, and I got forced one time. I know this is good. I got forced. A friend of mine, I was playing his show. I had to play all these pools. Dude, we're doing Wanted Dead or Alive.
Oh.
And I'm like, listen to me, man. I went to Berkeley with TJ just from here. I said, dude, only because I love you, man. I will. And it's to me, it's the least offensive Bon Jovi song, Wanted Dead or Alive. I says, I will do this.
One could argue Santa Fe as well. Sorry, Jenny, my wife, she's huge.
I know. The chicks, man. The chicks.
And dude, how many nights I've had
you don't
to
hear
sit
the,
there.
You don't see the chicks fucking coming over your house with the King Crimson album or some fucking shit.
That's true.
I can't tell you how many times
Bon
I've
Jovi.
The ones that are due are
nights.
fucking nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, you fucking.
You don't want them around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, brother.
I'm with you.
sorry. Ah, shit.
Our shit, morons.
Catch Jamie Holcomb with Bruce Wojcik as the Brothers of Invention play the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York, Wednesday, June 20th at 9 p.m. Serving up some of your favorite songs while the bartender serves up some cold drinks. Wednesday, June 20th at 9 p.m. River Pub. Then, see Jamie Holcomb solo on Friday, June 29th at the River Pub. Partying for happy hour, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls. See you at the pub.
The Stardust. Something is coming. Something powerful. From Darker Times, Exit Priory, CD release show, June 15th, at the River Pub, 6004 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York.
WNY Radio, in association with FTNP Events, brings you WNY's Music Scene Showcase Volume 4, Saturday, June 23rd in Sugar City, 1239 Niagara Street, Buffalo, New York. 6 p.m. doors with a $5 cover, all ages, featuring some of Western New York's top acts, like Hojack, Element 36,
It's a cold day. All the evacuates are failing.
Wyatt Coyne,
I was half drunk, staring at my crossed eyes in the mirror, thinking back on the old
Yellow Sauce,
Space Wizard took the yellow
and Exit Priory.
We say, goddamn!
Come be part of the fun and bring everyone to the All Ages Show, Saturday, June 23rd in Sugar City, 6 p.m. door time. See you there.
If you want to have more of the Nick and Dan Show weekly, be sure to check them out on YouTube at XM Priory, EXHAMPRIORY, Tuesdays every week. We're back.
Zeppelin. I mean, like I said, Zeppelin is one of those things for me. It's like, I don't know. That was like kind of some of the most important rock. I mean, for me, you know, again, everybody's got their deal.
Right. For me, it was Hendrix. Hendrix is what. Look, he's the I saw Isle of Wight. I'm like, I have
See,
to.
I always liked his like. So it just feels good. Oh, it's just amazing.
His name is Sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. Love that chord. Jimmy, he was. That was it. I mean, I have the Smash Hits album, and I would listen to that. And the Zeppelin album. The ironic thing for me was looking back on it. My big Zeppelin album was Zeppelin 1, but also The Song Remains the Same, which was the live album, and 28-minute version of Dazed and Confused,
Yeah.
and I literally wore that album out. Like the one side was wore out. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
totally. you know. And it was just weird how live albums were that kind of prominent back then, and who's making a live record now, right? You know. But you know, I don't know, man. Like I said, I got no answers. I just try to have a little piece of the puzzle, you know. That's all it is.
Yeah, right.
A little piece of the pie, you know.
Yeah, Hendrix is the one though for me. It's like if I had to get stuck on an island with, well, one, a way to fucking place that record, and two, all right, if I have to go, I don't know.
For an album?
Fuck, it would have to be Hendrix. I don't know. Southern Delta Blues was always a great one.
I mean, dude, those first two records, I mean, Are You Experienced and Axis Bold as Love were just, they're masterpieces, you know?
Right.
We still do Wind Cries Mary every night. We always do that. So that's just beautiful, you know? And there's something about, you know, see, as I'm saying, all these heavy hitters. I mean, Jimmy really changed. He was the one beyond the Beatles, way past the Beatles as far as he changed the sound of rock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fucking plugging into, you know, Marshall Stacks and cranking.
Giant fucking thing.
I mean, Jimmy did a lot, not for just the songs and the guitar playing, but for the sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and everybody was kind of trying, you know, Cream, you know, Clapton was trying to follow him, Townsend, and they were all like, man, this fucking guy.
Right, because at that point you really hadn't heard a whole lot that raw, overdriven sound like he was putting out.
That's right.
To that point it was more, you know,
well, yeah,
the ripped speakers that were kind of giving the broken sound, but he was pushing those tubes like.
Well, yeah, distortion. It probably at one point was thought of as a mistake, undesirable sound, you know. But I mean, look at we're talking about. You're talking that stuff kind of happened 50 years ago. And 50 years is a lot to us,
right?
But in the scheme of things of history, it's not.
Yeah, it really isn't all that much.
And where it was and where it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, and Jimmy, just those albums for me, man. Smash Hits though was an album he put out a greatest hits while he was alive. You know, most people,
right?
You know, they put that out, and I just Purple Haze opened it up. Purple Haze into Fire, into Hey Joe, into The Wind Cries Mary, into Can You See? That was the order. I mean, I remember I would just listen to that, dude. Manic Depression, Stone Free. You know, and just like, and I mean, who was cooler than Jimmy?
Right.
I mean, his whole stage vibe,
his persona, his look,
unbelievable.
He kind of just had it all. You know, he showed up in like the military jackets that were all decked out.
Well, if you look at his look, the way he had his hair and that little mustache, and then if you know the history of who he was playing with before he became famous as an individual, he was backing up Little Richard.
Oh.
So you look at Jimmy with the way he had to throw that little stash, he was stealing Little Richard's look, but again, that was only a small piece of that.
Right, a small piece of the puzzle there.
You know, but a cool. You know,
right?
He was just, I mean, his stage. But then, you know, his stage antics were the best. Mm-hmm. But then, as time went on, he started not wanting to be known for all that stuff, and the drugs came in heavier. And there's live him at the Atlanta Pop Festival was his second to last show he ever played. He started all along the Watchtower off in the wrong key, turned around, looked, and they finally get on, and it's like, what the fuck? And he was just kind of, he didn't have any energy, you know, and it was just like, man. But the ultimate performance, I believe, was him at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1966. I mean, Janis Joplin's in the front row. I mean, everybody's, you know, all eyes were on Jimmy. You know, yeah. He was 24 years old, dude. I mean, are you fucking kidding me or what? Like, really? Shit's crazy, man.
Right? Yeah, think of the shit that he fucking accomplished in here.
From 66 to 70.
Yeah, and that's all it was, too. It's really all it was. Cause, I mean, I think after that, after he passed, I know there was one album, at least, White Lightning, that had, cover of Blue Suede Shoes on it, amongst other things, which was a random one. Like, all right.
Well, that's what I mean, though.
There was that, and then there was like one other that was like post-mortem that was right in that area. Mm-hmm. Everything else was not
Yeah.
until the 90s and later
Yeah.
when things started to pop, like with the BBC sessions and
Right.
everything. Well, yeah, it was all just that
Yeah, and
fucking 6-year span.
yeah. Well, I mean, he was only, he was only able to record those for 4,
Right.
and then whatever resurfaced after that. But I mean, think about that. Same thing with the Doors, I mean, the Doors is another band. I mean, I was not a Doors fan growing up, but when I started playing with Jeffrey, the singer, he was into the Doors. I started listening. And you look at their body of work; it was impressive. I mean, they had quite a few records out, same exact time span.
Right.
I think one more year. Morrison lived one more year. But I mean, they put out, like almost 10 records, full length albums, man, in like 5 years. 2 years, what those bands were doing back then.
Right, well,
you know?
at that point, you kind of had to keep relevant
Right.
in the eye, because
But
you
think
don't
about it,
have,
I mean,
like, the radio play,
If
like,
you had to do that now, you really, like, who, nobody.
I mean,
You can't
it took us a year just to do the one.
well, more than a year. We were roughly about 3 years, too.
But those guys had money behind them, too.
Right.
I mean, if they needed to get something done, they got it done because there was a huge, there was money. Money solves many problems.
Yes, it does.
Creates problems too, but I mean, it solves a lot.
But I mean, yeah, that was also the era of, like, the big record labels, too, where there was that A&R, there was research going in trying to build artists, looking for not just
They
the
give you a
quick
5-album
buck.
deal. Peter Frampton, Frampton Comes Alive, the biggest live album of all time, was his. He signed a 5-record deal with and that was his 5th album. The first 4 never quite did what they had hoped, and everything was kind of, in a stalemate. And he just said, "Fuck, I don't really want to make another record." And they're like, "Well, you owe us one more record." He's like, "Well, fuck, I'll just do a live album.
Right.
I'll make a live record because I just need to get one. I owe you an album. That's what I'll do." Frampton Comes Alive. Do you feel like we do? I mean,
Sure.
like really, that was like well, I owe you an album. I'll do this. Right. So I mean, the way things worked back then, you know where Frampton came from, right? You know what band he was in? He was 15, 16 years old.
No.
Another band now. If you don't know this band's material, you must go and listen to them. Humble Pie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Frampton was on the early, first few Humble Pie records.
okay.
I never knew.
I say me either, actually. I know Humble. No fucking shit.
There's the most underrated, under-talked about singer in the history of rock, Steve Marriott. Fucking top of his lungs, balls to the wall, soulful, little fucking white Englishman with that voice that was just out of control. I mean, his voice was, not only did he sing at that level when he sang, but if you listen to like Live at the Fillmore, Humble Pie Live at the Fillmore, he never speaks to the crowd. When he talks to the crowd, he sings when he's talking to the crowd. He never speaks.
Right.
He sings everything. It's insane, dude. He was out of his fucking mind.
That's fucking
Out of his mind. Amazing. But, they were kind of, that, second level of bands that if you were, like guys that were in my brother's 13 years older than me, those guys revere Humble Pie. But Humble Pie was one of those bands that kind of got lost in the shuffle. Like when my generation came along, we knew the obvious, the Zeppelins and the Deep Purples and the Black Sabbaths. But bands like Humble Pie kind of didn't get the same. But I mean, like listening to Humble Pie would come like when I'd be almost 20 when I heard the band. Holy shit.
Now Jamie Holcomb performs.
Zeppelin, I could do. Something like that.
Woo!
Thanks, guys.
Good shit, man.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And that's all from the Nick and Dan Show for this week. Be sure to tune in on the YouTube channel at XM Priory for Tuesday Antics, plus the full extended version every Thursday on allwnyradio.com.